Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm with the two ding-dongs of the world. We're talking about the teams with the top 5 futures in the NBA. So, like, basically who's going to be a top 5 team in the next 3 years kind of deal. And also the bottom 5 teams that aren't going to be good for a very long time. So we're going to start off at the top, go to a bottom. There'll be timestamps so you guys can click through if you want to click through. But starting off with one of the teams at the top, obviously, point blank period, the OKC Thunder. I mean, they have all the picks in the world. They have a core that's unbelievable already between SGA, J-Dub, and Chet. And you just have the 1 seed. So this team is going to be in the playoffs for the next probably 10 years, which is just crazy to say. This team's unbelievable. We don't have to touch on it too much. Everyone knows about the OKC Thunder's future, but yeah.
No questions asked. Number 1. No questions asked.
Moving on quickly, just because we don't need to touch on them, we'll go into more in depth on other teams. Bottom 5 team. This one might come as a shock to you guys, but the Phoenix Suns. This team just doesn't really have the ability to change up their core, barring a big time trade, which just doesn't seem likely. The only person I feel like they could trade that they would trade is KD because he's older. And like, yes, that would get a ton of assets back. Do you want to give up Kevin Durant? Probably not. And you would like to give up Bradley Beal, but no one's taking on that contract. So this team probably has a bottom 5 future. That's what we think, but please leave your thoughts in the comments. But let's touch on Phoenix a bit because
KD back to Brooklyn? Nah, I'm playing. They're over. If I'm them right now, I'm flipping D-Book ASAP. I'm gonna just do it because it's a Band-Aid. You know what I'm saying? Like you just rip it off.
And then go where though? Where will Book go?
They don't pay me. I'm not a GM. I don't know. But all I know is he's got to go.
Sheesh. I think you really would have to move off of KD and try and get some other assets that will help your squad out. Hold on to Bol for a little second. Let Bol, play some more minutes. He showed you what he was capable of this season, his production, his efficiency when he's on the floor. Give him a little bit more time to trust. And I think he's been in it. Oh, excuse me. I think he's been in the weight room. And if you could you lost campaign, you need a small little guard. If you could get Ayo Dosunmu or, some situation that could, help Bradley Beal come off the bench. I don't think Bradley Beal and Book should be on the floor together.
I'm not a fan of the Bradley Beal D-Book guard combo. They need a true point guard. We just said it in the last video. Go check that one out too. But moving on to another top 5 future. We're going with the Houston Rockets. This team just kind of has a little bit of everything that I like. Their defense, to me, is a little bit to be desired, but I think you can upgrade that in time with development as well as trades and drafting well. I think Amen Thompson's going to be a really, really good defensive player for years to come.
You love him.
I do. Yeah, I think he's going to be really good. Like, he's a freak athlete. He's 6'7". He can rebound. He can push it. He can do a little bit of everything. Once he gets that jump shot, which hopefully comes, they will they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. I had to get it before you called me. But no, I like the Rockets' future a lot.
In fact, I like everything they got going on. Şengün, I think Freddie's a good OG. Shout out Jeff Green. Shout out you know what I'm saying? But Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, y'all got a lot of pieces that can work together. I think this is going to be Jalen Green's year, this 2024-2025 season. We saw a little bit post-trade deadline, how he was moving. I know that he's going to, step into the league this upcoming season, knowing what the West is capable of and the competition that's over there. I think Houston definitely got something serious on their hands. And if they can draft a small guard like we just talked about in our last video, Fred VanVleet, that's a lot of bread. So if you wanna get off Fred VanVleet, you gotta draft somebody young, trust the point guard. I'm always gonna throw Tyus Jones or Bones Highland in the conversation if anybody need a guard right now, because Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are unavailable. Sorry.
They got nowhere to go but up. Jalen Green was spectacular. Started to show you a little bit of what we expected him to be in this league. Like Matt said, don't want to regurgitate, but Şengün's a hell of a player, a lot of upside. Hopefully he comes back 100%. And yeah.
Yeah, no. The Rockets are going to be good, man. They're going to be good in a few years, no doubt, and they're going to be a perennial playoff team every single year in the near future. Another bottom 5 future team. I have the Brooklyn Nets. It's tough because they just don't have a star right now where a team like the Pistons, who were way worse than them, they have a couple guys that I think I can put stock in and really believe in long term. Where
Don't forget about this, though.
What?
Don't forget about you saying this like mid-season next year. That's all
okay, when the Nets are the fucking 12 seed midway next year, we'll talk. No, they just don't have a guy, and I think they were hoping Mikal could be that guy. He's just not. And it's sad to say. I think he's one of the best role players or above average role players in that new class, similar to Josh Hart, Derek White, that level of player where they're not going to probably be an all-star, but they'll be really damn good on any team. And they're just in that spot where they don't have a guy. And for the Nets long term, I don't know if I can trust them to make the right moves because we've seen them crumble and fall before our very eyes just a few years ago.
Man, it's very difficult for me to say just because I've been riding with the Nets since I was a kid, and they've been ass. 2019 was the first year that they were decent, and it was up from there. And again, we're trying to keep this video low key, so watch. We're gonna have a whole Nets video come out here soon if you want to see my full opinion on it. But the fact that I'm not aggressively detesting Matt's opinion shows you that it's probably true. And I think we got great. I think again, like I've said this a million times, we got Cam Thomas and Claxton, who I think are both going to be fine all-stars in the NBA. Fine all-stars in the NBA, 100%. But just. There's a real possibility that they come out next year and they win 7 of their first 10 games. We're having a different conversation, so we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, moving back into the top 5 futures. I got the Orlando Magic. Obviously, Paolo and Franz are really, really good. Jalen Suggs has developed every single year of his career. This year, finally being able to develop a three-point shot. They just got their first playoff run. Paolo looked unbelievable. Franz and Jalen Suggs were really good at home, a little rough on the road for what you want from your second and third best players. But they have the assets to be able to sign someone. They have the assets to be able to trade for someone. They just are in a good spot. They were just the 5 seed, took the Cavs to 7 games, who I think are a really good team, and impressed me a little bit more than I thought. And the Magic are going to be really, really good for years to come, especially with how good their defense is.
That's the fact. I rock with the Magic. Y'all know I rock with Jalen Suggs, Franz, P5. I think that they got a lot of strength. I think they could use a new level of veteranship. I wouldn't mind seeing Dame as the one over there if Milwaukee could get off of Damian Lillard. I think that would be a nice fit, have Jalen Suggs at the 2 right next to him. But Jalen Suggs is going to push the ball in transition. If you could get off of Markelle Fultz, I know that these cats aren't too favorable for Mo Wagner, but I think that you got a lot of opportunity. So if you could get a solid big and a quick guard that can shoot the 3-ball very well, I think that would elevate everybody else's game. And I trust that Jalen Suggs is leaning to that. His comparison, another NBA comparison for Jalen Suggs for me is Jamal Murray, just by the way that they play their offensive game, how they float. But Jalen Suggs is a very, very exceptional defender. I think he could be, second team. But really,
also on Jalen Suggs, one of the most fuckable girlfriends in the NBA. Throw that out there.
Okay.
I get on demon mode when I get the buffs on.
All right, moving on. Obviously, bottom 5 future, the Washington Wizards. I mean, you're listening to Kyle Kuzma not want to be traded. What are we doing here? It's Kyle Kuzma. Yes, he's pretty good.
He's like, this is my city.
This is not a guy that you can build a team around. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. This is just one of those situations where you tried to blow it up and you actually failed by blowing it up, which is just one of those things that doesn't happen often.
Stuff with Jordan Poole, getting him, and after all that, it's just absolutely insane that didn't pan out.
What a minute run from you right there. Holy Lord.
It's pretty insane. No, but like I think Jordan Poole is going to be a great piece in the NBA, and like they got to figure it out over there. He needs a spotlight.
I like that boy Koulibaly. That's really about all I can say. They got rid of Daniel Gafford, so I believe in Koulibaly, and even more than Jordan Poole, Koulibaly is the cat to build around for me. Reminds me a little bit of Jonathan Kuminga and their energies and how they, are continuous at getting to the cup for real.
Shout out the cum bucket.
Yeah, not going to touch on this one. Pretty point blank obvious. The Minnesota Timberwolves top 5 future. This is not because of their draft picks or anything like that with the Thunder where they have that. They have Anthony Edwards, then they have a team that's going to be a perennial top 3 defense for the next 5 years, probably barring any catastrophic changes with Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels and Ant. So this team's going to be good for a very long time. They were just in the conference finals. I can only really see it going up from here for them. Obviously, they could lose in a round or two before, but like that's something that doesn't really matter because this team is going to win a championship at some point with Anthony Edwards. That's just point blank period how it's going to happen. Bottom 5 team, Chicago Bulls. They are weirdly trying to keep this core together while being around 500 every year. I'm not in the camp of being 500. Either try and be at the top or try and be at the bottom. There's no in between. I know the lottery is kind of crazy. Like the Hawks just went basically 500 if they did not go 500. And they have the number 1 pick. Like the lottery is stupid sometimes. However, you're going to get a top 5 pick 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10 times. So in that scenario, you're going to be able to rebuild. Let go of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Just let them go and figure out what you want to do from there. Maybe you can even get a sign and trade for DeMar. But this team just doesn't really have what it takes to be a top team in this league.
Get it together.
Lastly, top 5 team, the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, they have the best young piece in the NBA, in my opinion, in Victor Wembanyama. I think I don't want to say prove the doubters wrong, but he was basically on par, if not a little bit better than what everyone expected coming into the league. They just need a true point guard. Point blank period, they need a true point guard, and this team is going to be in playoff play-in area level of a team. Especially, we saw Wemby at the end of the year. He just started to figure the game out a little bit more coming from a different style of game. So now once he understands NBA ball, I mean, it's over, dude. Like his numbers, everything he does on the floor, it's insane.
I think he takes care of his body really well. You could tell by his pregame preparation, stuff like his stretching and whatnot. And I think he has a great training staff behind him. He's poised for a long, hopefully injury-free career. I don't see him getting injured. I think he takes too good care of his body.
Yeah, no. Wemby's one of those guys that you're just going to have to put stock in.
The alien.
And then you could say, if you really watch their season, we know that Pop wasn't running the most efficient starting lineup specifically. I think that Wemby played his best game, and the San Antonio Spurs played their best game in general when Trey Mann was on the starting 5. Trey Jones, not Trey Mann, excuse me. Trey Jones. But I think that was all to prepare to draft a young guard that's going to be able to, really elevate their level of play. Devin Vassell is going to continue to take that leap. I think, and I know what I heard, you got an inside scoop, top 3, like, follow, comment, subscribe, show your mom, show your auntie, show your dad and them, you know what I'm saying? But I think that Jeremy Sohan, they put Jeremy Sohan at the 1 just so that they could be able to allow him to kind of create his own shot when they are able to pair him with, you could say a young guard like Rob Dillingham. We'll see what San Antonio does in the draft. But I think that if you could draft a young guard, swift, pushes the ball in transition, a Maxey-esque type of player that can shoot the 3 ball at a good clip, get everybody else involved, and just keep the pace up, keep it moving. I think that Jeremy Sohan, will then be able to do what he does in a situation how we just got done talking about how Paul would be such a great fit with Joel Embiid, big five who can handle business, is efficient, just like Wemby. You put P there, you put a nice wing there, let them rock out. And Jeremy Sohan was developing that this season from what I can tell. If you decide as San Antonio to hold on to the cap, but hold on to Trey Jones as well. But I think you get a nice little young guard in there. Y'all got a little situation. Y'all got a nice situation.
Yeah. And then to wrap it up, the last team with a pretty miserable and bleak future is the Portland Trailblazers. I understand they just drafted Scoot. They have Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton, and Jeremy Grant. Like, yes, they're all pretty young and all fit their current timeline. I just don't think they're talented enough to be where they want to be without having to mortgage some of those assets. I had Scoot Henderson being really, really good in the NBA. I did not love his rookie year. Sorry, I didn't. I think moving forward, we can see him become a really good NBA player, but right now it's just not there. And if you're going to be...
It was flashes, though.
Huh?
It was flashes.
Yeah, there was definitely flashes, which I'm not taking away from him. But if you want to go and... I think if you've seen enough as the Blazers to build around Scoot, you have to get rid of Anthony Simons, and we'll see where that goes. I do like Anthony a lot. It's just one of those things where you're going to have to let Scoot take the shine. So that's it for this one. Like, comment, subscribe. The big three out. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.